Hello guys, this is Chantal and today I have some seeds to share with you. You'll have to excuse me, I can't see myself in the camera because it's super sunny over here, but we'll just wing it and hopefully you can see what I'm doing over here. I bought these seeds from Baker Creek, which their website is rareseeds.com, and these are not the only seeds that I bought, but these are the seeds that I have received so far. I bought some other seeds from other places and I'm still waiting on those. And today I want to share the seeds that I bought from Baker Creek with you. I'm not sponsored by them. This is just a company that I like to use because they have a wonderful variety of heirloom seeds. And I love heirloom varieties because you can actually save the seeds from them. Because with the hybrid seeds, you can save seeds from them, but you might not end up with the same plant that you have planted originally if you save seeds from a hybrid seed. A hybrid plant is a combination of two different plants that have been bred together to form a different variety of plant, and the plant would have the genetics of both parents in it, and so and also the ancestors of those parents. So when you do collect seeds from that hybrid seed, you're not going to end up with the same genetics that you have originally planted. And that's why I prefer to buy most of my seeds as heirloom seeds. I do buy some hybrid seeds as well because there are some wonderful varieties that are hybrid and I like to try them all. But for most of my seeds, they are heirloom seeds. I bought a variety of vegetables and flowers. They are mostly flowers. I'd buy a few vegetables from them, the things that I wasn't able to collect seeds from last year or something that I wanted and I didn't actually buy. So let's go ahead and get started, but before we do, I just want to kind of take a moment of quietness and I want you to listen to the birds. Of course, the birds have to be interrupted by noises from the roads. That's how it is over here. I see a truck. This is broad Windsor fava beans. This is a 75 variety, 75 days variety beans, and I love fava beans. I planted them last year, but because they got some sort of root rot, I wasn't able to collect any seeds from them. All the seeds kind of ended up rotting on the plant and none of them actually dried up. We also had a lot of rain during the season when they were supposed to dry out. That also did not help. So I got a whole bunch of these broad Windsor fava beans because they are delicious. I love these things. So on the seed packets, they kind of have the spacing and it tells you whether it's frost hardy or not. This is frost hardy, and it tells you what kind of sun they prefer and how long it takes to sprout and the ideal temperature it needs to sprout, and the seed depth, and also plant spacing. Did I mention plant spacing? Yes. It also gives you just a little bit of general information about the plants. Like for example, here it says broad Windsor fava beans are high protein, extra early variety, cool weather, gourmet beans on upright columnar plants, superior green manure crop too. So these with fava beans, if you want to use them as a manure crop, as a kind of a cover crop to put back into the soil, you don't want them to go into flowering and into seed production because you are going to lose all those nitrogen, all the nitrogen that they are going to provide. So with any variety of beans, they have kind of these nodules on the root that are attached to the roots that hold tons of nitrogen in them. And to keep that nitrogen in the roots, you want to prevent them from going into flower or into seed, especially into seed, because once they start producing seeds, that means they are going to use up a lot of those nutrients in there. So you do a method that's called chop and drop. So you chop the beans at right below the surface. You leave the roots in the ground and all the nitrogen nodules are going to be absorbed back into the ground, and also the leafy matter is also going to decay and provide some nitrogen in the ground. Is it snowing again? Or is that just the wind driving the snow? I don't know. Looks like it's snowing again, but it's sunny. Okay, so that's one. I also bought some butterfly milkweed, and I'm going to be planting this in my planned butterfly garden. And this is a great source of food for the caterpillars, for the monarch caterpillars, so that they can feed on it and develop into chrysalis, into a chrysalis or chrysali. And this is a perennial type of butterfly weed. It is hardy in our area. It's actually hardy, I believe, from zone 3 to, does it say on the packet over here? It doesn't say on the packet. They do provide more information on the website, so I'll put the link for their website down in the description box below if you guys want to check these out. And this is the orange type. I did in the last video I mentioned that I bought this type, but I forgot that I bought a different type as well. So I'll be planting both of them and kind of trying, well, they're the same type, just different colors, so I'll be planting both of them and hoping that I would get some yellow ones, because honestly, orange is not my favorite color in the garden. Orange is just not in the garden. I just don't like orange in general. So I'm hoping that I will get some yellow ones, because I do prefer yellow better than orange. And this is some Love in a Mist, Miss Jekyll mix. It's also known as Nigella Damascena, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll try to put some pictures for you on the screen so that you can kind of see them up close. And this sprouts in 10 to 21 days, and it prefers temperatures between 50 and 75 degrees. And so that would be a spring crop. And the plant spacing is 8 inches apart. It's frost hardy as well, and it prefers minimum to full sun. Seed depth is 1/8 of an inch. Oh, so in place in late fall, winter, early to mid-spring. Oh, maybe I should sprinkle these in my flower bed now. This way they could just come up in the spring instead of having to sow them into seed trays, because that would be a lot of seed trays for me to sow and take care of indoors. So I think I'll sow these in a separate video. I'll sow them in my new flower bed, because I think that's where I want these. And I'm not sure how the structure is like of these plants. How tall do they grow? Well, it self-sows freely as well, so that's awesome. I might also sow some in the butterfly garden, the planned butterfly garden. They are so beautiful. I love how airy, kind of, they're full and like not airy but like feathery the blooms are. And they have these, the stamens on them are really unique in shape. They kind of spread out and kind of curl a little bit. They're absolutely beautiful, and I love the colors of these plants. There's some purple, some blue, and some violet, and yeah, really beautiful. Some more fava beans. I have a whole bunch of these. I got some stock. Last year I got stock, but I was kind of disappointed with the variety that I got, because they were super short. I was expecting some that were tall. I love the color of this stock. This is Haru no Kagayaki. Really interesting name. And it's translated as the Brilliance of Spring. So it produces a densely packed single spike of richly fragrant rosy pink blooms. They are ideal for arrangements or adding to recipes. So this is edible as well. It's a stock is actually in the family of Brassica. The single stem variety requires a chilling period and therefore should be planted in late winter, early spring. Okay. So I'll also sow these directly in the ground. This is making it really easy for me. I love that. I think I want to plant these in the vegetable garden, because I do want to use them as cut flowers. I really love having fresh bouquets in the house, and having some cut flowers on hand allows me to do that, and it just kind of brightens up the house, and I love it. It brings some joy indoor and makes it alive. Status Pacific mix. There are some yellows, some purple, some pink, and white in this mix, according to the package. Annual and old-fashioned favorite, widest possible range of rich jewel tones, purple rose and lemon yellow, superb for drying. So this is why I also want to plant this. I would love to have some dried flowers in the house. Because I just love nature and I love to look at flowers, and having some dried flowers indoor is going to be wonderful in the winter. Especially that this type of flower dries out really well. It preserves the color really well. I think I might dry some Confrina as well for the next season, and I'll just try to make some beautiful bouquets out of them. This is safflower, dark orange red. So I believe this is kind of a substitute for saffron. When I was reading this, I think that's the reason why I got it. Not so much because of the flower, because it is orange, but I was thinking, so saffron is actually like crocus. It is not crocus, but it's like the flowers. They are look-alike plants, and you collect what are they called? They're like these little feathery things inside the flower that you collect. I forgot what they're called, and that would be the saffron. And saffron is super expensive. I've never actually bought saffron, but I do know that it has a really unique that it adds really unique flavor into any dish, and I do love cooking. I actually have a lot of recipes on my website, and I'll hopefully be adding more in the future. I'm just kind of struggling in the time department over here, because it's a busy season, and I don't have to explain it. We all go through these seasons. Anyways, so this is, it says also that this can be planted as a border. It's a tall plant. Annual, use for centuries, bright orange thistle-like heads, very pretty. Oil is extracted from the seeds, dye from flowers, and natural fencing. Yes, natural fencing, not border, sorry, that's what I meant. So you can also extract the oil from the seeds as well. So it's a multi-purpose flower, and I do love how the buds on the flowers kind of are really unique. They are I'm not sure how to explain it. They form this kind of, here, let me bring it up a little closer. You see that? The green ones are the buds, and they're just very beautiful. I love that. I don't love the color, but I do love that. So this is another seed packet of milkweed, gay butterflies, and they do have a variety of colors in here. So there are some deep yellow, bright yellow, and orange. So I'm hoping to get some bright yellow ones, because that is the kind of yellow that I like. I like very kind of light and buttery yellow. I do not like the deep yellow type that's kind of leaning towards the orange color. I don't like that. So these are perennial in zones 3 to 9. A citrusy mix of Meyer lemon, tangerine, and orange colored blooms. Make this a fiery addition to the pollinator garden. Drought tolerant, plants stand 24 to 28 inches tall, topped with cheerful sunshine tones. The fragrant flowers are irresistible to butterflies, hummingbirds, bees, and other beneficial insects. And they gave me some free seeds as well. When you do purchase from them, they do give some free seeds depending on how much you ordered, how much you paid for your order. This is Saint Valerie carrot and Japanese wasabi radish. Actually, the other day I was watching some YouTube videos, and a commercial for wasabi, how it's prepared, appeared, and I got these, so I thought that was kind of interesting. It's funny, the coincidences, but I was thinking, after I saw the commercial, I was thinking to myself, oh, I would like to try to make wasabi. I've tasted wasabi once in my life in an Asian restaurant, and I didn't really like it, so I find that when I prepare things myself at home, I prefer their tastes better because you can kind of change the flavor to the way how you prefer it to be. And I'm gonna try to plant these and hoping to try some wasabi sauce. And I did order some more atomic purple Confrina because I did not save any seeds from those. They might drop some seeds, and I'm hoping that they do drop seeds in the place that they were planted. And if not, I'll be planting some more of them because I do love that Confrina. Some more fava beans. Yarrow. This is Yarrow Love Parade. It is a lavender kind of color. I want to plant some yarrow in the front where the Russian sage is. I kind of want to create a drought tolerant garden in there. Now, three of the plants that I planted in there are not necessarily drought hardy, but I am taking care of them. And the less plants that are not drought hardy, the better it is for me because it is very kind of far from the house. And watering it is kind of a chore until I set up an irrigation system in there. So I got this yarrow over here, and yarrow does not need a lot of watering, and especially in our environment it can kind of pretty much survive on its own as long as we don't have a long drought period. So this is a perennial in zones 5 to 8, a standout climbing yarrow with extra large flower clusters that fade and blush several lovely shades of pink throughout the season. These 1.5 to 2 foot tall plants have dark green glossy foliage. The soft pink umbels are irresistible to beneficial insects and pollinators. And I also got some Amaranth Pink Beauty. Just because it's super, I love the color of the stems. Look at that. They are so vibrant and beautiful. And I will plant some in the vegetable garden and some out in the flower beds because I do want to kind of harvest them both for food and have them look beautiful in the garden. Amaranth is edible. All of the plant is edible, including the stems, the leaves, the seeds. You can actually make flour from the seeds and from the flower pollen. And I want to try it out. And we are partially gluten-free in our family. My son and I are gluten-free. And so I want kind of different varieties of plants that would allow me to kind of create or play with different types of flower. I also bought the Amaranth Dreadlocks. I've seen Yulia. I love her channel. I love all that she does and her spirit. She seems like a really sweet person. I don't know her in person, but I do love her. I think she seems like a really sweet person, and she plants this one, and I wanted to try it out. I love the look of the flowers in her garden, so I was thinking maybe I can integrate that somewhere. I'm not sure where yet, but I'll find a place for it. I didn't give you any specs on these plants. Let me read first. The Amaranth Pink Beauty. Also, I figured the Dreadlocks would be also great for preserving seeds and the pollen from these plants for flower. Heat tolerant. Okay, so the Pink Beauty, heat tolerant and tender green. The greens are endlessly versatile, a powerhouse of nutrition and very heat tolerant for summer. A gorgeous addition to the garden and edible ornamental indeed. I suppose I've never really eaten amaranth. I've just planted it for the looks of the plant. I have the coral variety, so I'm trying these two different varieties, and the coral is absolutely beautiful. It has this chartreuse green foliage, and it has these coral kind of fountain-like flowers, and they are just absolutely beautiful. You can kind of plant them in the back of the garden or as a centerpiece in a pot. They are very beautiful. The Dreadlock ones it says gorgeous, rich burgundy, weeping flower heads, dwarf form of love lies bleeding, reaching 3 feet. I believe the coral one reaches 6 feet. Alright, this is the green twister Echinacea, and I can't wait to plant this. I've been wanting to plant this for so long, and I decided to buy the seeds instead of the plants because I do want to plant tons of plants in here. And this is kind of a bare garden, really. I mean, I'm starting from ground zero here. I have to clean up so much in our garden. I have been cleaning up for most of the years that we have been here. When we first came here, my goal was to just kind of clean up the areas where I want to start the new flower beds, and I kind of focused on that for about, I don't know, like 3 years, and then I started planting, and I still have so much to clean up. Really, the property that we bought was very neglected, so it's going to take me a long time to prepare, and I hope you guys will join me on this journey to make this garden a beautiful space. And I just want it to be kind of like an oasis where we can just kind of rest and relax and enjoy the beauty that God gave us in this nature. And I do want to plant a lot of evergreens on this side and kind of create flower beds in front of them. So there is a lot of changes that are going to be coming throughout the years, but it's going to take a lot of time, and I'm glad it is going to take a lot of time, because that would allow me to that would provide me with a lot of contents for you to provide for you guys. And I do love organic gardening and planting vegetables and all sorts of stuff, so I have tons of videos on that, and I will leave some of them in the description box below if you guys are interested to check them out. So this green twister echinacea is a perennial. Butterflies, birds, and bees love this drought-tolerant, easy-to-grow perennial, medicinal benefits with good looks to boot. Also, I do love echinacea tea, but with echinacea tea, I believe you have to harvest the roots. If I can, I guess, collect the seeds from the flowers that I plant, and then plant some more in the vegetable garden to harvest the roots for tea. That would be great, because I'm constantly buying echinacea tea because my husband and I love it so much, and I love having growing our own tea, because I know where it is, how it's grown. It's grown organically. I know what I'm putting on it and what I'm feeding it. So that's, I think one thing that a lot of people kind of forget to plant are herbs, spices, and tea. They kind of just focus on the vegetables, and that's fine, but I think if you want to have a culinary variety, it's really good to have these types of things planted in your garden. And you can plant them in your flower beds. You don't have to necessarily plant them in your vegetable garden to take up space in there. So if you don't have a lot of space, you can tuck them into your flower beds or into pots, and that would be a great way to plant these things as well. Another green twister echinacea. Does it say how tall this grows? Ooh, I'm not sure. It doesn't say that. Some more fava beans. So these are all the seeds that I have right now. I'm still waiting on some more seeds to come. I don't know, did I purchase any from Johnny's this year? I'm not sure, but I did purchase from another company, and I'm super excited to share these seeds with you as well once they arrive over here. And again, I will be taking you along with me when I do sow the seeds that have to be planted in this season before in the late fall and early winter. I think that's the best way to plant seeds. We get a lot of snow and rain over here, so this method works for us really well. If you live in a dry area, this might not work for you. You might have to water them kind of sporadically throughout the winter, and that would make it a little bit more difficult. Or you can kind of cover them with some sort of material, like maybe some cardboard, and then when early spring comes, you remove that cardboard. As soon as the snow kind of disappears, you remove the cardboard and allow them to sprout, and you'll make sure to water them. And the reason why I suggest using the cardboard, and I've never done this, but I'm just suggesting it if you've tried this method and it didn't work for you. Maybe the cardboard, it will kind of preserve the moisture in the ground, and you don't have to water it throughout the winter, I think. Or if you do have to water it, it would be a lot less than you would have to if you didn't have any cardboard in there, because the cardboard is going to protect the soil and preserve the moisture in there, protect the water from evaporating out of the soil. So If you are new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell if you like these kinds of videos. And if you do like this video, please hit the like button so that more people can find it on YouTube. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.